Hey, so where are we? End of October 2020, the year of everything going wrong.
We have a new name for the coronavirus. The World Health Organization has officially called it COVID-19.
A SARS-like virus, which has infected hundreds in China, has now reached the United States.
First of all, as we know, the World Health Organization just declared this a global health emergency.
And India's reported more than 18,000 new COVID cases. Active cases are now at a 4-month high.
The number of COVID-19 cases is skyrocketing in Nepal.
They found their first case, a Chinese guy or an Indian guy coming into the country on a plane, and they locked down hard. It was brutal, it was tough. I ended up being stuck in Nepal. There was no business, there was no tourism, because somewhere like Pokhara, it's like 80% of their revenue, their income here, is from tourist trade. People coming up to the mountains, to the lakes, and that completely stopped for like 5-6 months, which is crippling for a lot of businesses. The irony is that 2020 was supposed to be Nepal's year of tourism. They had this big promotional campaign in the first couple of months. So the country started opening up in August. After a bunch of research, I found one place that's still open, which is this mountain range, the Annapurna Mountains, basically the mountain ranges, which you can see right in front of me. There's supposed to be 2 or 3 days of just clear skies. This is one of the 2 perfect seasons to go, because the clouds clear and you can see the mountain range. Since I've been here, literally middle of January, those mountains have been covered in clouds, and they come out very briefly. They peek out through the clouds, but most of the time you can't see those things. So finally, for the last couple of days, these mountains have jumped out of the cloud cover, which is amazing. It's just after lunchtime, and I got to get a bus to the foot of the mountain, and then it's 2 or 3 days of climb to get up to, I think it's like 4,500 meters basically, and I'll get close to that main mountain that you see. We're going to see what happens basically. This is what I've literally planned and dreamed and hoped to do since 10 months ago, since I came to Nepal, and unfortunately it's not the trek that I wanted to do. It's not the dream trek. Maybe I'll do that in future, maybe I'll never get a chance again, but this one is open right now, and I have the best chance and the best hope to be able to do something. So first thing is getting on a bus, going to the foot of the mountain, and I'm going to try and get up to one of the camps by the end of the first day. An hour by bus to the foot of the mountain from Pokhara bus station, maybe longer, and that will officially start the journey off, I guess. So we're officially off. We got off the bus and at the base. First stop, or first checkpoint, I guess, is what's called the Australian camp, which I guess is kind of like the base for a lot of people. I'm already lost. This is what I dreamed about, he said. Falling over and breaking his leg. Oh, don't even joke about shit like that. I'm about as far away as possible from anywhere. Here we go. Already beautiful views there. And I'll drop in with you a bit later. Disclaimer, I am by no means a trekking expert, and I have no experience in any other routes apart from this one. But already within the first 30 minutes of the route, it strikes you how difficult this is. I think Mardi Himal is popular because it's kind of like a short, sharp shot. It's a big climb, but it's in a relatively short space of time. Boy, oh boy, am I feeling it already. But that's the reason I'm doing it, right? Otherwise, what's the point? Anyway, it's fun. Oh, it's Feeling a lot better now after that first shock of steps. I get my first glimpse, well, not my first, but my first good glimpse on the trail of the mountain range, which is a sight for sore eyes because that's where I'm going to be in a day or two. Okay, things that surprise me. Number one, I haven't seen anyone coming up like in the same direction as me. I've had 3 groups going past me on the way down. Nobody going uphill. Then again, if we're all going at the same pace uphill, we're unlikely to bump into each other. Second thing, it strikes me at how quiet and isolating it is, but also how noisy nature is. Nature is noisy, like crickets and birds and streams, and I'm quite surprised how loud everything is, even though there's no people. It's just weird, but I guess that's nature doing its thing, right? Anyway, so far so good, making good progress on the trail. Past the initial shock of the stairs, which, you know, I was beginning to worry that the whole thing was going to be like fucking in the staircase and I would be quietly dying. However, it hasn't been that for a good while now. It's flattened out to a trail, and even this is an extended downhill bit, which makes me worry because I only have to go back uphill at some point. I've got plenty of water, I've got food, and I've got a cell phone signal, so all good. Chasing sunset. I passed a group going down. They said the next guest house is forest camp, which is, I would say, a good 6 kilometers away from here. Heart's hammering in my chest. Steps look like they don't end. Temperature already is not chilly by any means, because you can see how much I'm sweating, but it's a little cooler in the shade, which is actually good, because I thought I'd be sweating my balls off, and I mean I was in the sun, but in the shade slightly more manageable. So far so good. What the route breaks down to so far is these short bursts of climbs, and then it'll like flatten out to a guest house or a lodge or a gathering, and suddenly the view fucking blows your mind, and just your brain goes blah. And then it goes back into jungly, foresty bits and another intense climb. I don't fancy being out here in the dark, because, you know, who knows where the fuck I am, let's face it. So right now there's about 45 minutes till sunset, maybe an hour of, you know, light, and then that will do me for day one. Further I get today, the better it'll be tomorrow, basically. So you know, I want to try and power through it so that I don't have so much of a crazy climb tomorrow, but we'll see. You never know what the route's going to throw up, but so far so good. Okay, so here's the long and short of it. It's 7:29 on day 2. We are now 2,550 meters up, which is approximately halfway up the mountain, up Mardi Himal, in terms of both distance and elevation. I cut my filming short yesterday for a number of reasons. I made it up to a guest house. I was halfway between like accommodation basically, and I wasn't sure what to do. and I was in this shack. I bumped into 3 Nepalese guys that were also going up Mardi Himal, shared some noodles with them, and they told me that they were going up to this forest base camp, which is where we are now. It was about an hour before sunset by the time I got there, but there were no guest houses that were within reach other than going back down the mountain. So joined them and carried on climbing, and we went another, must have been about 4 miles, and ended up here about 8:30 at night, well after darkness. So I used my headlamp, but they had lights as well, and we kind of stumbled our way through the route and ended up at this forest camp. So made really good progress for day 1. Didn't get much sleep, unfortunately, to be expected, I guess. I got about 5 or 6 hours sleep. The accommodation was actually full up, so we ended up sleeping in the kind of the dining area, the dining room, which is interesting. Plan is today to go up to the last guest house on the route, which is kind of like base camp for the peak, which is about another 7.5 kilometers, about another 1,000 meters climb, which is supposed to be a bit more difficult, so it's going to take the majority of the day anyway if we just take our time. Get up to there and crash at the last guest house on the route, and then wake up at ridiculous o'clock, like 3 o'clock in the morning, and make our final climb to the peak, to get to the peak by about 5 a.m. and then see sunrise at the peak. So within 24 hours, this time tomorrow, I'll be at the peak, and basically up at the top, catching sunrise, and then I guess it's the long road back down, but we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, yeah, that's the news so far. We are off. I'm already lost. Feels like I'm in the wrong direction already. I'm gonna check my phone. I'll be back.
You are not so good at English. In Nepal, it is called Today Futeko English.
It's like
Yeah.
Nepalese English.
Yeah. Today Futeko English.
Yesterday, the group that I walked up with, they had a Bluetooth speaker, and they were playing Nepalese rap music. And it's pretty interesting for me. It's like a new world.
Do you have any idea about what you are talking?
Nope.
We are talking about business, about the future business. And he's an artist.
Good man. What kind of art?
Wood carving.
Wow.
Oh, really? We'll show you our photos.
Yeah. I want to see your Instagrams and see your product pictures.
अब जति थाके पनि अब बाइकमा हिँड्दा त आनन्द आउँछ नि त फेरि गएर पोखरादेखि
Happy? That's crazy.